Thank you for watching. We'll just let another minute pass here before we get it started. All the notifications are going out, so we got to give time for people to jump on in there. What's up, Ken? How you doing, man? Let's just scroll up to the top. First, I see Handyman. Andy, thanks for joining. All the way from the UK. I forgot what time it is out there. Got Wayne in attendance as always. Thank you. We got another Kyle. Did we get you on the air? Did you make contact this weekend? I made about 80, no, almost 100 contacts. Alright, I see the minute is past, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Frank, KG5HJ, and welcome to Take Radio. This is my live stream. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to be talking about Field Day, and we're going to go look back at what worked well, what didn't work well, and get some comments from y'all. So, as always, let's kick it off right by play that awesome intro video! Mixer. I think I saw it happen. I don't have the audio settings up. Put audio. Oh. Ah! I muted myself. I muted the music and then muted instead of muting myself. Well, that's funny. And on to Take Radio. Before we get started on the up-and-coming video, I just wanted to take a second out to point out my new tank pad. These tank pads are being sold over at Corky QRP, and it has my logo too, along with all the HF bands that you commonly use when you're out doing a POTA. So this thing is awesome when you're out in a POTA. It's the perfect size for a mouse pad. Perfectly fits inside your backpacks, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't recommend this is enough. And to get yours today, head over to Corky QRP's Etsy shop and order now. Links in the description below, and it might be popping up right here. Who knows? Now on to Take Radio. Hey y'all, what is up and how's it going? Thank y'all for joining. As soon as Jason joins, my nose itches as always. He is to thank. Every time we go on camera, he talks about his nose itching. Thank y'all for joining. We got some awesome news coming up, including pre-orders are going to happen this week, and we're going to get the webpage up, and we're going to get that going for a awesome new item we will be talking about here in a minute. But as always, we'll start at the top. Thank y'all for joining. Thank you to my Patreons who are awesome, and thank you for supporting me, Tank Radio, through Patreon and also YouTube memberships. I can't do this channel without your support, so thank you. Super chats and buy me a beer is active. You just click on that little icon down below, and feel free if you like to give me a super chat or buy me some beer. Actually, I had a gentleman that bought me some whiskey through that buy me a beer. That was awesome. Thank you. I think it was Nicholas. Stickers. My sticker packs are still on sale through Grapevine Amateur Radio. We can go ahead and get those up and going again. That was awesome. I would like to put more of those in the mail. So head over there. There are links in all of these things are in the description below. Gigaparts has a 5% off. 5% off at Gigaparts. Use Tank at checkout. Tank at checkout, and you get 5% off. And as always, my audio podcast is Paul, you're awesome. He's gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Paul, for that. We saw you this weekend. Actually, you know what? If you want to, I can go ahead and toss you the link. We'll do that in a second, Paul. And finally, my audio podcasts are released 4 times a week. That that hand 4 times a week. We'll those are audio pod 4 times a month or once a week. There is 2 audio podcasts that are not on YouTube, and I think that's about it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring all the awesome people who joined. Thank y'all for joining here. We got Scott and we have Jason. How's it going? Doing all right. Doing all right. Man, we had a fun time. I cannot believe how hard I crashed last night. Um, we the sun just beat me. Beat me. Yep. Yep. Um,
No, it's true.
it fixed
You guys
y'all's
have
audio
bad
there.
humidity up. You guys have bad humidity up there, like it was down here.
No.
Not like down there. No, I mean, yeah, it was humid, but not like Houston area humid.
Yeah, it
No,
was like soup out here.
it it um it did not break 100. It wasn't too humid.
Yeah.
When the breeze hit, it was beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
And I loved being out there. It was fun. I enjoyed hanging out with everybody, and we had a blast. And thank you to Key West. Was that right? The amateur radio club for
West
having us.
Fork,
West Fork.
West Fork Amateur Radio Club.
I said that wrong somewhere. I
It'd
got to fix that.
be great
Uh,
if we could go to Key West for
I
field day
know,
one of these
right?
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, West Fork Amateur
I
Radio
just
Club.
dropped that in the chat there. Um, but we had some fun. I got some pictures, Jason. If you want to share some pictures too, I do have the shared
All right.
enabled.
Okay.
Um, but starting it off here, uh, zoom, Chrome, bam. So this is West Fork Amateur Radio Club. This is the front of their trailer, man. They had 2 trailers out there. One was the emergency communications trailer, and then the other one was the I think another trailer a club member let them borrow. And dude, that second trailer, it was where it's at. That AC was on point.
Yeah.
Man, you sat in that room and it felt like it was low six or low 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. It was quite comfortable.
And then let's just keep on going here. We were at the 4x4 overlanding park area over there in Bridgeport, and they had a wall of stickers, and of course I had to put my sticker on there.
Yeah.
You went back and put your sticker there. Did you
I
cover
did.
mine
Yeah.
up?
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, I didn't cover yours up. No, I found a spot to put mine.
Nice, nice. Ken, I think the whiskey is the most water. Hydration is important after a day in the sun. Yes, we
True.
we had our fair share of whiskey out there. Um, thank you, Ken, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Talking about drinking, the whole park was a non-drinking park. So
Yeah.
during the day, we respected everyone out there because since it was a 4x4 overlanding park, we didn't drink. We did smoke some cigars, but
Mm-hmm.
we didn't drink, man. Um, and then let's look at the next picture. They had these towers hoisted up. This is the first time I saw this. Hoisted up on these cherry pickers. They had 2 large cherry pickers. And we're going to see a picture later that they were off in the distance and it was just they were high. We're up on top of a hillside,
Yeah.
and these cherry pickers were 30, 40 feet up. Then you had these rotors and beams on them. That was just so cool, and they could hear pretty much everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, my former club used to do or does that. They have these huge cherry pickers, but these massive 40-foot wide antennas up on there, and
Yeah.
got 2 or 3 of them up there, and got about 40, 50 feet up. It's pretty cool. It's pretty impressive if you've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm. That was my first time seeing it. And I couldn't believe what they did. They did that. That was cool. Um, what
Yeah,
else?
once they go up in the air, I stay away from them. So I'm always have this fear it's going to come down and kebab me or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree, man.
Yeah.
Me and Jason tried our hand a little bit going off the trails and then going down to the 4x4 area, and we tried. I think
Well, we
we
went
got
down.
lost on the trails.
Yeah,
That's what
I think
happened.
we made the wrong turn. So because he had showed us which way to go, and I told him I didn't want anything that was too rocky. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
mind steep inclines or narrow pathways. I didn't mind that, but I didn't want anything that was too rocky.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we ended up getting down a path that was kind of rocky. So we turned around and went down another path that was actually pretty good. So I talked to him about that later on that day, and he's like, "Yeah, it sounds like you turned the wrong place." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I probably did. It was
Well,
hard to tell
it
from the
was
map."
kind of confusing because there's trails, it's
Yeah,
spider webbed here and here
yeah,
and
they
here
do.
and here,
Hmm.
and just going by the map a little bit, I'm like, I think that was where maybe I don't know.
Right.
How do your antennas fare? Because you had a mag mount that got knocked over, right?
All of them got knocked over, including the Meshtastic one. No, they were fine though. They were fine though. I just set them back up. It wasn't any big deal.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And let's see what we got here next. So here is we're down on the bottom of the ravine. Where me and Jason were driving around, and there we can see the towers up in the
Yeah.
distance, or towers or cherry pickers.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
yes,
it was kind of
it was
poking over the tree line. It looked really
Bridgeport,
cool.
Texas. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they were just poking up on the towers. You see the cherry pickers. Plus, they had a push-up pole on the back of their emergency communication trailer. So
Hmm.
that was pretty much meeting the same height of those cherry pickers. So that's probably a good 30, 40 feet up also in the air.
Something like that. Yeah.
They had these giant beams, man. That I don't think I've ever worked a club that had those types of antennas.
They had the Cushcraft A4S, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
tribander, and then I forget what the brand of. They had a 40 meter, 2 element 40 meter beam. I forget what the brand they told me what it was and I forgot. And then they had a 6 meter, 5 or 6 element 6 meter Yagi, and then a I think that was, and then they had a vertical for the GOTA station, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. But that A4S is a massive antenna. I actually have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
was contact.
that was this
Uh,
one right here
it's the one on the no, it's the one on the left.
on the
Which
left.
it would
The
yeah,
one on the
which it
right was much larger.
yeah, well yeah, that one's the 40 meter. That's gonna be a lot larger.
Mm-hmm.
But the A4S tribander, I think that's the right number. A4S tribander. It I got one of those a couple years. It's probably been 4 or 5 years ago now. I was contacted by a lady down in Arlington, and her husband had passed away. So she's like, "If you come take this tower down, you can have the stuff that's on it and the tower itself." So I did that. So 2 or 3, 4 guys from the Hearst Club helped me. But I'm pretty sure that's the antenna that I have, and it's in pieces on the back of my shack over here. But it is freaking huge. And you don't realize that until you climb up the tower and you get underneath it. And you're like, wow, this is a lot bigger than it looks like it is from the ground. So I've always wanted to take that out to the deer lease and put it
Mm-hmm.
together and use it out there. I just haven't never done that. So
And that's also the idea of putting that top of Bob's crank up trailer.
yeah,
So we're
I mean
there, we crank it
that is
all
a
the way
thing
up.
too. Yep.
Plus
Very
that
true.
trailer, will keep it out of the reaches of the cows. You have it
Oh
up in the
yeah,
air.
yeah, yeah,
So I got two questions for you guys.
Yep.
Were you guys working under one club call sign, or did you guys have your own club call sign? The other club that was there that was hosting this whole thing have their call sign? And how many operators did you guys have at any given time?
So they were a 4 alpha, and we were running under. They registered for a special event station under their
yeah.
club.
They had a
Okay.
1x1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Whiskey 5 Tango is what we were operating as.
Mm-hmm.
It was their club that had registered the special event, but yeah. And while I was working, I probably made 70 or 80 contacts, something like that. And while I was where I worked probably 3 or 4 other stations that were 1x1s, like November 4 Romeo, I think was one. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there were several 1x1 special event call signs out this weekend. So which that was kind of fun.
Nice, nice. Um, I worked 2 DX stations. I wish
Hmm.
I knew what they were. I just knew their call signs were DX. I didn't look up. Actually, one I think was Chattanooga.
That's not DX, that's
Uh,
Tennessee.
oh, it was some.
Hmm.
It was one. Um,
You did
Well,
work one. I can't remember which one it was though.
Yeah.
I worked a Russian station,
There was
but
another one that was HP something, and
yeah.
he came back. He was literally in the room with me, so clear, and I just bumbled the call sign because I wasn't listening for a DX call sign, so it like broke the mode, and I had to parse it in my head for a second, and I came back with him. I was like, "Did I hear a da 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 da?" Nothing,
Yeah.
and then I walked it back da 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 da. I know it was a DX station. 80 DX out there. All right, CQ Field Day. He was
Awesome.
there and he was gone.
No.
But I was like, the
you got
bands should have held on longer than that.
Mm.
did anybody have any crazy new radios out there you guys haven't used before? Or is all kind of standard equipment?
Yes, there was a 10 Tech.
Well, that's not new. That's actually as a Temtec
Well,
Omni
that was new to me.
7. Yeah, same here. I'd never used one before.
Mm-hmm.
So that was their 20-meter station. Was a Temtec Omni 7. I think it was Omni 7.
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting to use that radio for the first time. But yeah, nothing. They had FTDX 10, FT 710, two 7300s, and then the 6 meters. Apparently they had a 6-meter station,
Mm-hmm.
a station dedicated to running 6 meters on FT8. And apparently 6 meters doesn't count toward, that was their 5th station. And 6 meters doesn't count towards your class number.
No, what I was
So,
wondering that.
yeah, I was like, I asked them that. They're like, yeah, VHF 6 meter, 2 meter, 70 centimeter. If you want to do some FM simplex or sideband on 2 meters, something like that, that doesn't count towards your class. And I'm like, okay.
That's interesting. I never
Because I
heard.
thought we had run a 6-meter station, but it's been several years ago.
You know, 6 years hasn't really been up that much.
Right, right. Mm-hmm. So,
Mike says, CQ, what's the call? Watch my video. Watch all the way to the end Monday. You'll see me flub the call because I kept using POTA exchange. I hear you
right.
as hold on, 4 Alpha, North Texas.
Yeah.
And then a couple of others when I started calling CQ, KG, God bless it.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
Just habit.
And of course, I did do, like we were talking about earlier, lots of cooking. This is the only picture I took. I got video of it. But I made breakfast both days. We had bacon and eggs with sausage patties that I grounded up, and we just did breakfast burritos. I think that's the best. People can make what they want for breakfast. I like doing that. It's fun. It's fun, and that Coleman stove is kicking. And you know how I thought the tank was almost empty? That's still half full. So I think I
Oh, really?
bumped the knobs. Yeah, because I was like, I
Yeah.
had to keep turning them up, but I think I knocked them, and they got a
Oh.
little low. This is the same grill I'm planning to take for our upcoming trip to Yellowstone for us to be cooking on.
Good.
And both cast iron skillets, which both of them need a good cleaning. Yep,
Good.
yep. Me operating the radio. Unfortunately, I sat down at an ICOM.
Ta.
Really, dude?
I just had to play. The icon was fun, man. It was a little bit different than the Azu that I'm kind of used to, but that icon 7, I almost said 705, 7300. Great radio, and it worked out well. The gentleman who I for this picture, I got off the radio and he had it power turned down, so he was running digital. I was like, oh, I need to turn the power up, and I fumbled at the menus for a second. I was like, that's how you do it, yeah. And I got it all the way cranked up. Which radios did you use, Jason?
I sat at that 10 tech for the 20-meter station, and then the 15-meter station was an FTDX 10. So, and that's the only 2 bands I operated.
What was your final contact count?
Like 70, I think, something like that.
70?
And I did. Yeah, I didn't have that many. I didn't sit down today at all. I sat down for half hour, maybe like 40 minutes yesterday on 15 meters. I got 57 contacts in about 35 minutes, something like that.
Wow.
It was rolling. 15 meters was rolling. And then and I did some 20-meter contacts yesterday evening, and the band was so full you couldn't find. I wanted to try to find a place to stop and call CQ, and I couldn't find. I found that I found one place towards the top of the band, and I called CQ for about 10 minutes. I didn't have anybody come back to me, so I just started tuning down the dial, and I'd hear a station I could actually hear. Most frequencies had like 2 or 3 stations on them,
Mm-hmm.
just people talking over the top of one another.
Hmm.
But I would find one I'd hear, and I'd go back to them, and 9 times out of 10 I worked that way. So I probably worked, I don't know, another 15 or so, 15, 20 or so like that from by just searching and pouncing on 20 meters. So
Mm-hmm. When I was on 40, it seemed like the band was opening and closing, and there was another gentleman. I was on there for about 20 minutes calling CQ into the ether, and then I hear him kind of fade in, and I was trying to work him. I'd be like, I threw out my call several times, and I tried to call him several times, and it just didn't work. But I was planning on trying to work him, like, hey man, that's great to finally make the contact. Have a good day, 7-3 QRZ, and just keep on going like I did
yeah,
in POTA several times of someone trying to do a net or whatnot. Um, I'm like, I'm here, I'm playing. Talking about nets, I think you said you heard the Bodie McBoatface net.
yeah, I did. I was tuning up and down the 20-meter band, so I started at 14,350 and just started going down. And when I got to 300, I'm like, okay, I wonder. Now there was a guy calling CQ Field Day at like 14,300.8 and like 301 and like 301.2, and there was another one down at like 299. But a bunch of QRM between 299 and 300. But when I got to 300, I listened for a minute. I didn't hear anybody calling CQ Field Day. And
Mhm.
after listening for, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds or something like that, I hear, okay, we're still taking check-ins for the Maritime Mobile Net. I'm like, all right, you guys go right ahead, man. I just kept going. So,
I'm
Wow.
surprised they were
yeah.
trying to do that on Field Day.
I don't understand why these nets do that on field day. They all like to complain about. I don't know if these guys complain about it. I've heard a lot of nets that complain, "Oh, field day, we can't even get our net." I'm like, take a day off. You
Yeah.
don't have to do the net 365 days a year. So,
We are
I don't.
uninterrupted for the
Yeah,
last 40 years. We're not going to
right.
let this stand. I heard a net or two scrolling up or down, but like you said, it was already established, and I would be the impedance, so I kept scrolling.
Yeah, yeah,
Be the good ham operators.
yeah.
What?
I mean, I didn't purposefully step on anybody. I'm not going to do that. I'm not all
Mm,
about that. I think the way they operate is a little bit weird. Um, but I'm not. Some guys came by my video and commented, "Well, it's kind of rude what you're saying to do." I was like, I didn't say to do anything to these guys. I said they were being rude on the air,
Hmm.
and it wasn't even really the net control stations. It was just some Yahoo on there that wanted to kind of hold the frequency for the net control operators to get on. And I'm like, that's kind of lame.
hmm
So
Then Ken says in the chat he only made 23 contacts this field day because he was running to being the club president, and I guess that has its own woes to do. But thank you for doing that president's role. Um, it means that you just missed the important meeting to say no.
right,
Paul, man, he's still joining. There he goes. Paul, man, thanks for joining. You
Hey,
came out
thanks
to
for the
our
invite.
field day event for a bit, right?
Yeah, I did for a couple hours.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was quite the setup,
It was.
and
hmm
you guys had a great camp set up there as well.
we had fun. That's usually our normal camp setup when we go and do a lot of the um, 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 events, conventions, and even when we're at the deer lease. It's the whatever the trailer it is at the time, and the circle in the middle, and maybe some pop up awnings if we can have
hmm,
them.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
nice.
yep.
It was fun. It was fun. The next picture I have here is Robert.
Mm,
This was Robert trying to make that first satellite pass that for some reason no one heard. Like the two
yeah.
meter or 70 centimeter band just closed for satellites, and Robert pulled up the satellite tracking site, and I think the Eris uses or Eris publishes for everybody, and there was
Hmm.
just not a lot of contacts during that time. But man, I just had to show this picture. It was a beautiful picture.
Yeah,
Good shot.
yeah,
Yep. And with the hat, man. Ah!
yep, for sure.
And what's next? We got just another shot with that full harvest moon. We had both nights we were there.
Oh yeah, the Strawberry Moon was on Saturday or Friday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Friday and Saturday.
Friday and
Mhm.
Saturday.
Yeah, it was a very large harvest. I mean, that picture doesn't really do it justice. I took a couple pictures; they look just like that, Frank. But
Yeah.
if you were there, you're like, yeah, the moon was freaking huge in the sky when it was coming up
Mhm.
over the horizon. So
Yeah, doing photography, the moon can be a little tricky. You have to have your ISO set it a certain way and your f-stops
Well,
and everything.
I was
Mhm.
cheating just using the phone, but I
Mm.
should have busted out the DSLR. We were probably at a good place to do some nighttime photography. I
yeah,
didn't think
probably
about it.
so. Yep.
Oh, next year.
With all
Next
those
year.
filters you bought for your camera for that solar flare or that solar event.
Useless at night.
Well,
Yeah.
certain ND filters can help out with getting that. See how your moon's all blown out there because you
Yep.
didn't have anything on it. Well, if you had a filter on that, it would help maybe bring in some more detail.
Yeah. Yep. And then this is my last nice picture I took with the phone. I turned around and I saw that. I was like, "Oh, that was awesome."
Mm.
That's all the photos I had. Do you have anything you'd like to share, Jason?
Let's see. I could probably.
Get ready
Yeah,
for it.
I did a
Damn. Nope.
couple
Yep.
of them. I just got kind of the same pictures of different
Different aspects.
aspects that so kind of the same stuff you did. But this was that is the that's the they had a Moxon. I knew they had another one.
Mhm.
That Moxon right there on the left. I forget what band that was for. I can't remember what band that one's for. But that one on the right over there, that's the A4S Tribander over
Mhm.
there. So had that, and then they had their QSL cards displayed.
That was cool. I
Yeah,
think a lot of clubs
yeah.
should take this idea of
Mhm.
other countries and places the club is contacted, and maybe if your members have QSO cards, they have it on the other side, and be like, "These are our cultural operators for this event." I really like that idea.
Yeah, totally. So there's that, and I like that picture right there.
Uh huh. What is the other cartoon character? I don't know who that
Mr.
is.
Bill is before your time.
You're
Yeah,
too young, Frank.
Oh
yeah,
my
Mr. Bill.
god.
You sounded kind of like you when you call out your call sign back in the
Ah!
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah, if you put Mr. Bill's arms up in the tank radio fashion, the voice is very similar.
There you go.
Oh
That's a good
wow.
idea. That's a good idea. So, one of the FTDX. That was the 15-meter station there. That was, I believe that. Oh, that's the 10-meter station. You can see the frequency on the dial there. And then that's the 10 Tech.
Yeah.
Omni 7. I was right.
We were
So
kind of
that's the
messing with that 10 Tech and trying to understand this waterfall because it never moved.
Yeah, there was something wrong with the waterfall. It did not. Well, that's like a band scope, really. It's not a waterfall, but it never moved. I think he either had it turned off or was not functioning. I don't know.
By
I never
poking
asked
at
him
it,
about it. So
if you change bands, it comes back like it does a sweep once, and then it's staying with that picture the whole time or something. But it was not like an issue with the screen itself because it was a nice
No.
sharp LCD screen. They could have done it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know why it was kind of just there.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what he might have had it turned off somehow. I don't know, but I didn't ask him about it. I just did it old school and just listened to as I was tuning the band. That's when the first time I ever did field day was with a 706 Mark II G. There's no scope on that thing, so you just kind of got to listen. That's the way to do it correctly, honestly. But
Don't be a scope head. Scan the dials
Right.
and listen.
That's right.
I
yeah.
think my first radio I had when I was working on field day was the Yaesu mobile. I think it was the I want to say the 818. Is that right?
That's their QRP
No.
HF rig.
That's the Yaesu one that everyone likes, and
Yeah.
and I got used to sconing up or down, and it also helps you train to understand when you hear them like really really high like chipmunks or really
Yeah.
low, how to dial it in and get to them.
Mhm.
Um, oh, I like that picture there. Tell us about that. What was that? That's the first time I saw that solar array.
This is a 400-watt fold-up panel from All Powers. I did a video on this on my channel, maybe I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
they sent me one of their They sent me one of their power stations, one of the smaller versions of the power stations, a couple years ago, and I put it on the channel, and I guess they liked it because they were like, "Hey, we want to send you the bigger one." I'm like, "Okay," and so they sent me like a 2,000-watt power station solar generator thing, and they sent me this along with it. And in the video that I recorded, the solar generator was like at 85 or 90%. And I plugged that panel. I was at the hunting lease. I plugged that panel in, and you could watch it. It went 91, 92, 93, 94. I was like, "Holy crap, dude!" So now it's a 400-watt panel, and where we were sitting this time of year, I was only getting about 250, 275 from it at peak.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's sitting on the ground, and there's trees around. There's the cherry picker was blocking it at one point, so I didn't really get optimal sun, but it did help keep the Delta Pro here from EcoFlow Charge, which this
Mm-hmm.
Delta Pro, if you see that down at the bottom, has a 30 amp RV plug on it. So it ran my RV all during the Belton Ham Expo weekend back in April. It was nice and cool out. Slept with the windows open, no big deal.
I was about to
But
say that.
yeah, but this weekend is really hot, so we're running the air conditioner in the RV, of course. And this battery here, which is 3,600 watt hours, would only run the trailer with the air conditioner, and everything else was running in there, with like the refrigerator, freezer, and lights and whatnot. It would only run it for about 2 hours.
Hmm.
So we plugged up to they had a trailer pull behind generator out there. The club did, so we plugged up to that and let the EcoFlow charge that. But they didn't have their generator didn't have a 30 amp RV plug. It had a 50 amp RV plug, which I didn't have. I used to have an adapter. I couldn't find it, so I'm gonna have to go get another one. It had a 50 amp RV plug, but no 30 amp. So I plugged my RV into this and plugged that into the generator, and everything was fine. But yeah, it worked for what it is. It worked well. During the winter, these things are great because
Mhm.
you can run your RV all winter long. I say all winter, all weekend long on a 2 or 3 day weekend, and
Using propane for your heater.
using propane for your heater, and yeah, because the air conditioner is by far the biggest draw for electricity. But yeah,
Yep.
so
You had a few
that was
solar panels out there. Were they running something else, or were they all linked together? I
no,
know
they were
there was
not.
one for the light.
There was what? Yeah, so the Devos Light has one of its own that's specific for that model, so that was on there. Mike had 2 or 3 power film panels. I had the
Oh,
Gigaparts
okay.
panel out. We were just charging battery boxes and
Mhm.
whatnot. So
Yeah.
I had a Bioleno panel charging my 20 amp hour battery, and I was just using that
mhm,
to charge laptops and stuff.
yeah, there was definitely plenty of sun this weekend.
Oh
So
yeah. Ooh, are you gonna use
that's
that shot for
that's
your
my
field?
hover drone shot.
Yeah. Oh, this was
So
the shot that you said it was not going to go up any higher.
right, yeah, yeah. That little drone doesn't go up very high. So
That was interesting. It couldn't fly any higher.
yeah, I think it's because you're controlling it via Wi-Fi, and I think that's the range of the Wi-Fi on the thing.
Now,
I
Wi-Fi
think.
goes a little longer. It had to be Bluetooth.
No, it's not blue. It doesn't have Bluetooth. It's
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
oh, it
Because
should be farther than that.
when you go into manual control, it
Hmm.
says connecting to devices Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
So
That's a great shot. That was pretty much the
yeah,
camp that we had.
right.
Um, look, I wanted to kind of look back on what we did and nothing to reflect on the club because they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not showing the shot. I thought I switched to it. We'll let that play again. Looking back on the things that we did,
Hmm.
is there anything that we did great that we should continue on and like that was a good job. We had a minus the plug, and I don't know what's going on. Well, this is good. I think we did good with the food. Breakfast was good. Hey, I did
Hmm.
that part. Um, and we had all the food. Can you think of anything?
I mean, it's just kind of like a normal field day for me.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that we're with a different club we hadn't been with before at a different location. So, uh, I think that I think it was fun. Those guys were kind of surprised that we wanted to stay out there all night. I'm like, well, we boondock with the RV all the time,
Mm-hmm.
so wasn't any big deal really.
Well,
But
well, they all lived
um,
in town, which was
right,
10
yeah,
to 20
yeah,
minutes
and
away.
yeah, and they lived in town. We lived an hour and a half away, so that was another reason. So
But most
yeah,
clubs usually have all night operators that'll still do shifts or something and keep making contacts throughout the
Yes.
night.
yeah, they had one or two. Well, the guy who was working 20 meters, the guy who owned the Omni, he said he stayed till about 2:30 or 3 a.m. this morning, and then 20 meters died.
Ah.
So he said he went home for a few hours and got some sleep, or maybe he said 12:30. I don't remember. He said he stayed until 20 meters died,
Mm-hmm.
and then he went home, got some sleep, and came back. The guy working 40 meters, he was there all night. He was there all night on 40 meters. So they did not have an 80-meter station, 80 or 160.
Mm-hmm.
So the only one that really worked overnight was a 40-meter station. But they got started early this morning. They were on 15 and 20 early this morning. So
Yeah, overall, last I heard, the count was over 2,000
I think
contacts they made as the club.
yeah.
I had about 80 contacts. Mike he got back on the radios, and I think he made another 50, so that brings him up to 150, maybe close to 200. But that's
Really?
Mike.
Oh, he did good then because the last time I saw he was around 60.
Yeah, he came back into the trailer, and because I was giving him a hard time, and my video closes out at the time. Had more contacts than him. Then he came into the trailer I was operating, and because when he was on that second time, his band he was on 15, and it was the log in N3FJT was KMRD KMRD KMRD
It
KMRD
was like that
KMRD.
when
It
I
was
was yeah. It was
just
like that when I was on 15. 15 was rolling yesterday.
yeah, it
It was
was just
freaking awesome.
insane. He
Yeah.
caught up,
Yeah.
and he surpassed me. And when I looked at the logs, I thought I was only like 2 or 3 behind him. So I was trying to have him like, wait, wait, and I was just going to pass him and I show him the new stats. But then realized, no, wait, it didn't update right. The new update was like way up there. I was like, I wanted to pass
Mhm.
him and turn on the camera and laugh.
Yeah.
It didn't
Um,
happen.
Somebody
Um,
in the viewing audience here is asking if you guys use bandpass filters. I assume you did.
Yes. Yes. Every
Yes. Yeah, they
station
had
had
bandpass
bandpass
filters. Yeah.
filters.
Uh-huh.
There was
Mhm.
no triplexer. Each radio had its own antenna. I didn't see a triplexer. Did you see a
That's good.
triplexer?
No, they had to have used something because the 15 and no, the 10 and 15, I think that Moxon might have been, I don't remember. The 10 and 15 meter station were on the same antenna.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was working the 20-meter station and it was pointed east, and this was yesterday evening around like 7:30 or 8, and I was starting to hear guys in California, but my antenna's pointed east, so I went and asked them before I rotated. I was like, hey, am I gonna screw up the 15-meter guy? And it was Robert was on 15 meters at that time, and they're like, no, he's on a different antenna. I was like, you can turn this one all you want to. I was like, okay, so I turned and pointed west and worked some California stations, but he said that the 15 and 10 meter were both, I think, on that A4S, and I think maybe that Moxon was a 20-meter antenna. So
So
they had to
they
have
had to have
some
some
sort
type
of
of mixer.
duplexers. Yeah,
Yeah.
something.
I thought they were 1-to-1s, but I know it was a 1-to-1 to the Goda. It was then a couple
Yes.
others were, and so I just thought the rest of them
Yeah.
were.
Well, they had a 6-meter antenna and a 40-meter Yagi, dual element 40-meter Yagi. They had the Goda vertical, and then they had the A4S, which is a tri-bander, so it'll do 10, 15, and 20.
Mhm.
But I believe the 20-meter, I'm pretty sure the 20-meter was on another, that Moxon antenna.
Cool. Um, and what things did you forget?
I don't think I forgot anything.
Yeah, you had
Mm-mm.
everything. This year I
Mhm.
forgot a towel. Again,
Yeah.
and
I keep towels in my camper, so I don't even think about that.
I like to have some hand sanitizer, so when I'm working
Yeah.
with meat when I'm cooking, I don't have to run in there and wash my hands and run out of the trailer. I've done that
Yeah.
numerous times, so I got in the habit of bringing some hand sanitizer, pump and then wash your hands. Just keep on going. Mike
Mhm.
thankfully had some in his trunk and let me use it. Thank you. I think all of us at camp thanks him for that.
Yeah.
um,
You've done this so much, you should have it down, Frank.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
right before all this happened, the milk crate that I usually carry out a lot of my stuff in, it got a little gringy at these past several camping trips. So I emptied everything out and I washed it. So I just put the stuff back in that I usually repack from my kitchen, but the hand soap is always in there and it's not in my usual checklist. So that's how it got forgotten. Um, Other than that, I don't think was missing anything other than the towel on which I kicked myself. I'm like, how can I forget a towel? Because you always bring a towel.
Right.
um, the cooking itself wasn't bad. Thank you, Jason, for bringing the hamburgers. Those were thick boys. How big were they? Because those burgers took a bit to cook,
Yeah.
like a third of a pound.
Maybe. Yeah, probably about that. They were probably 1/3 pound, something like
Yeah,
that.
because they took a minute to cook them right. I do kick myself also though. I thought about it late. I should have cooked some bacon for those burgers.
Yes.
When I was putting everything up, I saw the bacon in the fridge. I was like, "Ah, bacon."
So you
Um,
forgot a towel and bacon now.
well,
All
no,
right.
I had bacon for
We had
breakfast.
bacon. We just
Oh,
didn't
you
put it
didn't
on
I
the
have
just
burger.
did. I should
Got
have
it.
just pulled some out
All
and
right.
cooked like 6 pieces for everyone to have 2 pieces for the burger. Hamburgers, hot dogs were good. Then meals, I think going back on the good, wraps are key, or sandwich cold cuts for lunches are
Oh
key in
yeah.
Quench
Yeah.
because it's just allows people to eat lunch when they're ready or skip it entirely, and it doesn't make a big thing for chefs and stuff to stop and make a lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. Frank, I'm going to go ahead and drop to prepare for my
Yeah.
stream. So,
You might want to reboot your computer. You're lagging a bit on my end.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
chopping up
It's the
your,
same.
your signals a little. You freeze every once in a while.
okay.
So I just wanted to tell you that before you
Okay.
dropped.
Okay.
Thanks for
I
joining,
will look at that.
Jason.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Adios.
All right.
I think that's all I kind of had for our field day event.
Golly.
Paul, you made it out there a little late.
Yeah, I had something else up there at Valley View. They wanted some help with some communications up there at a cleanup site.
Mhm.
So I got out later than I wanted to, but I've always wanted to go to Bridgeport, and unfortunately couldn't bring my Jeep. But I will have the Jeep fixed, and I will get it out there someday.
We should have
Maybe
had you when we went on the
that would
trails
have been
that
fun.
Saturday morning because we got
Yeah.
all turned around and we're like, we're not going down on that. We had to back up a couple of times and didn't make the video because I didn't want to see like we were
Oh, those
doing
would have been
something.
fun.
No.
No,
Um,
it's well, I was lost not having been there. I would have needed a map. There were so many trails, I wouldn't know where to go
there
because I've
was
never been through there.
yeah, spidered all over the place.
Yeah.
Then talking about get lost. Somehow on the drop pin the first time, so always check your drop pins, people. That was something that bit me going out. Cost me 30 minutes. When I clicked the drop
Mm.
pin, it converted it to Wise County, and I just had a
Oh,
generic pin in the middle of the field, which looked close enough when I was just eyeballed it before I left on my phone, but it wasn't it. So I had to re-put in the information and then pull it up. So
mm.
check your drop pins before you get out there. Don't just trust the phone knows the best. But I
Did
ended
you
up at some guy's ranch gate and I'm like, I don't think this is it.
did you post it just the one time or did you post a second one? Because the one I clicked on worked.
Um no, I didn't post it. I just clicked on it.
Oh,
So
maybe
it
someone
got
else must have.
lost in
Maybe
translation
Robert.
on that link.
Okay.
But the second time, like you said, I clicked on it and it said,
Okay.
"Oh, it's 30 minutes over there." I'm like, "Great! I want 15 minutes out of the way, so you double that." And I'm 30 minutes late, and I was going to beat Jason. I was going to laugh at him, but he ended up beating me. Um,
Well,
but
we'll get out there eventually. I'll get the Jeep out, but
hmm
I realized uh, probably about 30, 40 minutes after I left, I realized I never got to talk to Robert. I talked to 4 or 5 other club members. I talked to you guys. I don't know where he must have been in the trailer the whole time.
He could have been in the trailer. We
And
were
I left
operating
and
a
I
little
thought I
bit.
didn't even talk to him
Yeah.
because I love watching him
Oh.
do satellite work too. I love
Hmm.
that stuff.
Yeah, the satellite was the only satellite passes that were decent was one at 9:15, and that was the
Mhm.
one we got the nice, beautiful pictures of because that's right at dusk-ish
Yeah.
time, and there
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
great.
And then there was another late one at 10:30 something, which I didn't even bother trying to take a video of. The other couple of guys did, and he did make a contact on that pass.
Nice.
Um, but
Yeah, I
overall,
watched him do one at Go Kit Challenge. It's pretty cool. He's
yeah.
got it set up so perfectly with his chest rig and everything. It's just perfect. It's
Hmm.
awesome.
Well, that's years of refinement right there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
He's definitely got that down to a science.
Yeah. And to be honest, it was nice going to a club's field day. Like the amount of stuff I had to pack and get ready, and it was dramatically less because I was not running my own station. I wasn't bringing stuff out. I didn't. I brought the same number of cameras out, but I ended up only using my phone the whole time. So, which is a good thing. So I didn't need to bring all that DSLR and stuff out. Um, didn't bring any lights out. I was ready for being on my own and on for power. So I had my CPAP machine battery. Ooh, I do have a picture of that. All set up just in case I needed it. Where that was like a one like day one picture. Bam. Rip that off. There it is. Um, I have the CPAP machine, a ResMed, and I have a 20 amp hour battery here. And that 20 amp hour battery will run that CPAP machine for about 4 days or 4 nights.
Wow.
Had a Bioenno?
Bioleno.
Yeah.
So it
Uh,
takes very little power.
over for a given about 8 hours of sleep time, it takes 4.5 amp hours.
Hmm, pretty
And
good.
I've been consistent with that every time I check the voltage. And then if it just when I was at More Expo, I plugged it into the solar panel, laid the solar panel out flat, and the time I came back a little after lunchtime, it was fully charged.
Wow.
So I was like, cool, I can go almost indefinitely. I had that there just in case. I ended up not using it like that, so I just had it on the table and I was just using it to temporarily charge my phone and other devices. Ooh, other thing I learned: have some of your stuff marked. Like we all hands and we put our call signs on everything, but if you buy something new, go ahead and mark it then, because me and Mike got our audio DJI devices mixed up.
Oh, whoops.
I grabbed his by mistake, and I had like two of them in my bag. I was like, "Oops, I'm sorry, Mike." Um,
Speaking of DJI, that's
mhm.
what Jason needs to get is one of those Mavic Pros.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Those are
That's what I
really,
have. It's
yes.
amazing. Not as good
yeah,
in strong wind as their bigger ones, but it's an amazing. It all fits in about, I don't know, a 12 by 12 little plastic container, like a Pelican box.
Mhm.
Smaller than a normal, like half the size of a briefcase.
Mhm.
I've got the Mavic, the charger, and 4 batteries in there. It takes up no space.
yeah, I had one of those for a couple of months. That thing was fantastic.
Yep.
It was like a 4 mile range or something on it.
Oh, that's that
Wow,
Oh, ridiculous.
OcuSync or some kind of technology. It's
Yeah.
insane range.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I really want to get into drones, but I was like, I can't do that and ham radio. It's full bore one or the other. I chose the better one, I think.
Well, there is one that's a little bit smaller than the Mavic, and I'm assuming a little bit cheaper. Maybe look into that one and
Hmm.
start implementing it in some of your POTA videos and stuff where you can get some,
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's my understanding though is that if you're going to use any of those things in videos that are monetized, you have to have a pilot's license and have some kind of special licensing for the
oh,
drone.
wow,
hmm
Otherwise, you can't use the drone footage, which is
interesting.
why I sold mine. I
hmm
didn't
Yeah,
want to go through all the trouble getting another license.
wow.
N8YO is talking about he has some of my chairs. That's kind of rule one when going camping. Bring a chair for yourself, and if you can, a chair for others. Our campsite was a little offset away from the actual activation site, which I kind of liked in one hand. So when we're screwing around, cutting up, and relaxing, it wasn't impeding what the club was doing and drawing from them using the radio. However, it kind of also felt like we were trying to keep our own camp. And if you know us, that's never the case. Um, yeah, you got to have also a commercial license. They say in the chat.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of that's the part I did not like when we're just sitting around us. It hardly seemed like the club guys were coming, talking to us, hanging out, because we were offset so far from them. On the other hand, it was kind of nice being that far away when we lit up cigars because I don't think any of them were smoking over there. So uh,
At
I
least it doesn't stink. Just like I said when I was there,
mhm.
is like it doesn't stink like cigarettes.
Yeah, yeah. So next year I would have liked to set up closer to the main other camp so that we seem to be more integrated and also encourage people to come over and say hey and we do tend to sit down and just relax and anytime you see us doing that it's open for you to come by and say hey, especially at conventions. If you find us, come on by and say hi. Um and any other thoughts, man? Did you poke your head into those trailers when you were there, Paul?
I actually did not. I talked to all
Oh,
the club members outside,
uh huh.
and I just didn't want to go in and like, be in the way of anybody. But
Mm-hmm.
I should have, and then I probably would have realized Robert was in there and could have said hi.
Yep.
So if Robert's, I don't know if he's on or not, but sorry, Robert. I
I
was looking
haven't
forward to
seen them
seeing you.
tonight. I don't know where I put it. The
It didn't feel like you guys were far. It felt, I don't know. It didn't feel like you were that far out of there. It was all kind of in that same area.
yeah,
Um,
but it just felt like no one was coming over and saying hello,
mm,
and maybe and maybe I thought if we were just closer, it
yeah,
would be
yeah,
more. It
could be.
felt more open. I was over there sitting and talking a lot, but I did retreat a couple times to smoke a cigar and pull footage and do my usual 1 or 2 hour stints of quick editing. Um,
Nice.
I did meet Bridgeport's mayor, and he gave me a challenge coin, and I put it down in my ADD minus. I had it in my pocket. It must be on a shelf somewhere. But he had a 150-year commemorative coin printed,
Cool.
and the city was celebrating that. So he was handing out those coins, and I wanted to rub it in Jason's face
Nice.
because I don't think he got one.
I was going to say you better put your call sign on it or Mike or Jason will end up with it.
Yep, yep. Digital Rancher made it out.
Yep.
Oh, there he is.
Awesome.
He's in the chat.
Cool, cool. Hey, man. Um, well, we're wrapping up here, so I'll go ahead and let y'all. Let's just do the quick rounds. Paul, man, thank you for joining. And where can we find more about you and what's coming up on your channel?
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Frank. And I had a good time out there. I wish I could have got out earlier. I didn't even do any operating at all
Mm-hmm.
this field day. I was driving for 3 or 4 hours of it, but it was fun. It's good to see you guys. I had a really good conversation with Mike about the mobile setups and stuff. But tonight, my Sunday night 9 p.m. rag chew, I'm just talking about. I'm finally getting my. I'm calling it my comms pack, so that I'm, PC instead of man pack. I'll call it my comms pack. And following kind of Julian, OH8STN, and the Tech Preppers, kind of their style.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight I'm just putting all the Armalock pieces together and mounting it all tonight at 9 o'clock. But normally just every Sunday night I get on and just talk about a subject of preparedness or radio, and then have some people that want to come in and talk can join me and talk every Sunday night at 9 on Prep Ham Paul on YouTube.
Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it. And uh, thank you for coming by. And you are welcome to hang out longer, but I understand how life pops up sometimes.
Yeah.
Scott, my man, what's going
Sure.
on your channel and how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. First off, let me just say thanks for having me on. I like being your co-host on these Sunday night
Mm-hmm.
excursions of ours. It's always fun and exciting. Uh, On my channel, I spent the past week or so. I told you guys I'm building that 100-watt end-fed half wave, and it's about the diameter of a silver dollar. And yeah, I've got that built now. The footage is all shot for that. I just got to get the wire out. I had the 300-foot roll
No.
of that wire. I forgot the place I get it from. The place over in England. Uh, I lost my roll of wire. Couldn't figure out where it was. Went looking everywhere. Went back out in the shop. In my DX Commander boxes, it's sitting right there waiting for me. So I had to pull that. But since we had so much weird weather last week, I didn't get a chance to go out and throw out 68 feet of it and get it all soldered on and ready to go. So we're gonna do that this week. Hopefully, get that tuned up, finish up the video, and we'll get it published out here, and you guys get to check that out. And that'll be ham radio for non-techies. And yeah, that's it. So.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it as always, Scott, and
Thank
holding
you.
down the fort with me. I am, of course, Tank Radio. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate it. Thank you again to all my Patreons who help me and support this channel. Mug pre-orders are coming up, so this is going to be the new limit time item. It is going to be posted this week. We got the web page mocked and almost ready to go. So stay tuned to Twitter. Watch my community feed on YouTube, and I will be putting it out anywhere I can. And thank you all for making that happen. I can't wait to get those going. And oh, actually, I said I was going to show you that. I forgot. Where is this window? And where did it go? No, no, no. All right, we're just going to do it this way. Thank you for treading. Let me tread water. It is this picture. Maximize this picture. We're going to show the whole left screen, which can be right screen. Bam! There we go. Here is the cup. This is going to be the 12-ounce Tank Radio cup, that coffee cup, which is awesome. The green is almost my green. It's close enough. I'm going to say it's Tank Radio green. It's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be around $25. Probably going to be $30, or not $30, $23. I think is the final price. We're still trying to play with the numbers, but I can't wait to get that out to y'all. Watch all my stuff, and it will be announced later this week. And the tank pads are still being sold over on Corky QRP's Etsy site, and the stickers are on Grapevine Amateur Radio. All that does help support me, and I know I'm just trying. It sounds like I'm trying to sell stuff, but I really need to get to the coffers filled a little bit, because we got another Huntsville's coming up, and I got to fly there and back for that. But thank y'all, man. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate every one of y'all. Digital Rancher, I understand. Next time we'll get you in here. You're welcome as always. And to everyone else out there watching, go forth and conquer. Say bye.
Bye.
Have a
73.
good night.
A quick shout out to all my Patreons who make the show possible. You can support me by joining Patreon in the link below. And on to Tank Radio.